let's just dive in. Maybe we can start off on how the story came together, how you guys came together, and go from there. So whoever wants to start us off.
Go for it, Stephen.
Go for it, Stephen.
Sure. I mean, this story came about, I think, because the three of us were talking about things in our lives. Like it grew out of personal experiences in a number of fronts, and there are many layers to that. For Jess and I, we had been wanting to create something together. We've been wanting to work together as actors. We had, in our true history, we've been mistaken as siblings before, including that we tricked some high school friends of mine into believing that I had discovered a lost sister. And so we sort of started with that, and started with things we were afraid of, the kind of people we were afraid of turning into, and thought, wouldn't it be fun to play people like that? And brought some ideas to Kelsey, and the three of us shaped this world and these characters. And with that as a seed, we sort of grew into this, this show, this concept.
And I think that you're kind of alluding to it, but I was wondering, as you were saying, things that you were afraid of turning into. So I would imagine this did play off some personal experiences, or or that has some seeds into everyone together.
Yeah, for sure. I think we started from this very specific place with Stephen and Jess, where their worst fear, that became what their characters are. And for me, I was really interested in the family dynamics and just the heaviness. I had just come off of a big family event myself, and I became like my 13-year-old self, just a really like petty, angry, like little brat. And I came home feeling really uncomfortable by the person that I was around my siblings and my parents. And we were just talking a lot about all those sorts of ideas.
And I think that my character it wasn't my worst fear. We started with my worst fear, and then another thing evolved, which I find really exciting and different from that. But I was also really fascinated by, like, when you have a compressed, a life event, like a wedding, the compression of stakes in a ritualized event like that, and how that reveals nuances and details and dramas in a family is both fascinating, super relevant all the time, and like fun and interesting. So that was also something that was fun to kind of delve into.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that a lot of people can relate to, like, big events, whether they be holidays, weddings, that they sort of manifest maybe the best and maybe the worst, and perhaps everything in between, between families and people who are close together. And definitely can see how, that definitely is one of the, is like a crux in this pilot. And you guys played it off so well. So congratulations. Yeah. So maybe I was also just very impressed with, I think among our big lot in season 6 of Series Fest, you guys really have like such great costuming. The look is amazing. The sets are like incredible and varied. It's very impressive. So let's talk about that a bit, and maybe give a shout out to people who were doing the cinematography, and tell me about what you guys, had in mind, and how that evolved as you were making this pilot.
Lauren Ludwig, who directed it, she just did an incredible job, and she brought on a lot of people that were just the very best at what they did, including Alan Ho, who did our cinematography. Go ahead. Please go.
I also think it was, in the script that we wanted it to be, in this like hippie style location. And Stephen worked with Lauren and our producer rigorously to find like the perfect
crazy location.
We
Yeah.
we have few things, you know, relative to other festivals in the pilot in the series. I mean, in the festival, one of our advantages that we live in LA, right? And so shooting in LA, so we had access to people to crews who are working on TV shows and films a lot and are awesome, and we were really lucky to have them join us. But the location ended up the main location where the destination campsite wedding occurs is an actual commune in Topanga with like
in Topanga. Okay.
There are people living there, and it's a whole and it served our purposes really well, including because the production design team just did a great job making it beautiful.
Yeah, but it was a challenge to shoot there for sure. There were, I mean, it was one challenge after another. We had rainstorms creating mud issues. We had electrical issues when we were shooting the Burning Man scene. There was an enormous windstorm right before we started shooting, and I mean, we just got hit every day with a new adventure.
Wow. Was there a lot of rehearsal involved too? I mean, again, it's just, you know, so varied, and the dynamics among, you know, such a, you know, quite a large cast of people. It was quite great. Yeah, please.
Part of the process working with Lauren, she came on fairly early and worked with us towards the end of developing the script. And part of that script development also happened in rehearsals that she had with the key cast. So it wasn't like extensive, but it was definitely, there was solid rehearsal. And I think because she knew, you know, on an indie shoot, you don't have very much time. So like, that's the time she's going to spend with us. And thankfully she did, because as Kelsey mentioned, in our shoot, we were faced with many, many challenges. And so it was good that we could just like, you know, like get the act, you know, do the acting bit and, you know, move on to the next scene.
I would love to hear maybe just, you know, through the experience, just, you know, kind of as we wind up our conversation, just, you know, through was there just, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at my notes. Did the making of the pilot shift your vision at all? Like, how did that evolve? Like the creative process, how did that evolve as you were making it, and then now that you have completed it, seen it obviously, and let it manifest and digest? Has that shifted your vision at all for how you would like it to continue?
Yes, very much
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're really proud of what we made. I think though afterwards we just saw a lot of missed opportunities to deepen the conflict and to deepen the characters' point of view and their relationships with each other. And we had this really amazing thing happen on set, which was we hired these two Iranian actors, are American but born in Iran, and some of the cultural conversations that came up while we were shooting were just amazing. And I think that one of the things that popped up afterwards was we had just wished so badly that we were able to incorporate cultural elements of our cast more thoroughly into the actual story. And so definitely if we get the opportunity to make the pilot again or the show long term, that would be something we'd immediately address.
And I would please.
The show, you know, we're going to be starting to pitch, and the show we're pitching sort of in a number of ways sort of tightens things that are already there in the world and in the idea, but sort of heightens the stakes, tightens the specificity. Included in that is this idea of two families of different cultural backgrounds coming together, what that means generationally, what that means to the individuals, and then also how, you know, that there was a core theme already there, but it feels heightened, how that and other things are a part of this struggle that we all have, where we're all trying to sort of shape our individual lives, but our families are also trying to shape our lives with us and for us. And sometimes that really holds us back, and sometimes that really helps us. And all of that has dynamic tension and comedy and messiness that we want dive into.
It's actually really interesting. I'm sort of extrapolating a little bit, but looking at where we are at right now,
Mhm.
this situation of the individual versus the community and that interrelationship. And I think, this show is like a micro examination, on the family level, but certainly community, not versus individual. It's an interrelationship, but it's one that has a lot of conflict and tension, and in our
Mhm.
case also comedy. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, excellent point. I mean, I can, as we were talking about those big occasions when I mentioned earlier with families, I'm sure are happening right now since everyone, are kind of either together or separated, really
Yeah.
it's quite relevant. So good point, Jess. Well, the pilot is Everyone Together. Thank you guys so much and congratulations. And so happy to have you as a part of Series Fest Season 6. And thank you and congratulations. All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you.
Guys. All right. Have a good day.